Hello everyone, welcome to another video here on the channel. In today's video we are going to be going through the sort of build of my most recent factory, which is a turbo fuel factory. This turbo fuel factory is making approximately 3,200 turbo fuel per minute, and we'll go through how I got there. So first of all, we've got the heavy oil residue factory here. This is taking 3,000 oil and converting it into 2,400 no, not 2,400, sorry, 3,200 heavy oil residue. Now, normally speaking, this factory would only need 2,400 oil per minute, but there's a bug at the moment with Mark II pipes. They don't actually reach capacity. So if you're trying to use a Mark II pipe at 600 cubic meters per minute, you won't reach it. So your factory, if it relies on getting a steady 600 cubic meters per minute, it won't run properly. It will keep shutting down. So for the time being, I've overloaded this one, giving it more than what it needs, so that all these pipes are always full and and also run in a loop system. So the pipes come in one end, as you can see here, they come in, they come over, and all of these pipes are all connected together so that the extra oil that I've brought in can feed into all of these pipes, and this just maintains that all of my machines are always up and running. But this factory also creates 1,600 polymer resin, and that is dealt with over in this area over here. What we're doing is we're taking that 1,600 polymer resin and we're just putting it into these refineries here. And that's all going this way into these storage bins, which I've got set as with smart splitters to overflow into the awesome sink, because these, as you can tell, are full. Moving on, follow this train line here, bear with me a second. Here is the train, the two train stations that are just back to back, just so that I have a destination for this train to go to, and that leads up into this spiral. So these end caps have just been made using the pillar support, just on the end of the actual concrete pillar there. I just thought it looked a bit more finished just than like the end of a concrete pillar. But this leads up and then through these doors. This is where the rest of the production is happening. So over here we've got some manufacturers. These are creating fuel using the diluted fuel recipe. Again, everything's being overmade, so there's more fuel being made than I need, more heavy oil residue being made than I need, just to make sure everything runs smoothly. But yeah, this is making diluted fuel, and that all goes up to the final floor that we'll get to in a minute. And then we've got some more refineries over here taking more of the heavy oil residue. These are making compacted coal. I needed I think it was 13, but I've brought it down into 12 and then just overclocked these three at the bottom evenly, just so that all the belts are trying to get sort of an equal amount of compacted coal. All of that comes up here to the first sorting floor. This is where all the compacted coal comes up, and I've got it all merged together and then split off so that all of these vertical conveyors get a sort of what they need, and then being topped up by this one here. So you've got two vertical conveyors for the sort of the bulk of the compacted coal, and this one just on the front here just tops up the other two further along the production line. Also on this floor is my battery storage. So this is my battery storage for my drones, which I'll get to later on. And that is just hand loaded as and when I need, but as you can see, it's pretty full at the moment, so I don't need to worry about that. And then we have the sulfur coming in from the drones, and that all just gets fed into these bins, just to make sure that if there's any issues, I always have a bit of a backup of sulfur, just in case I'm not getting any in. And that all comes in via these belts up here. This is the second sorting floor. On this floor we have sorted everything out to go up to the manufacturers on the next floor. Sorry, not the manufacturers, the blenders on the next floor. The ones down below were also blenders. And everything just comes in here and nice and neatly goes into all of the blenders above to go on to making turbo fuel. That's those. Then out here we've got my drone port. I sort of went overkill because I wanted to make sure I definitely had enough sulfur. This is gaining sulfur from 3 nodes in the world. 2 are being brought in by belts, and then you've got 1, which is what the drones are dealing with, way over next to the swamp area. And they don't need to be running all the time because, as you can tell, I've got too much sulfur coming in anyway. It's nice and neat, just literally just put on the back there, a little bit of decoration, couple lights, nothing major, but it is on the back of the build. It just sort of gives it a little bit of flair. And then we've got the pipework decoration on the back here, making it look a bit neater, a bit more finished. And here is what everything leads to. This is your turbo fuel production facility, and this is making it 3,200 turbo fuel. This is enough turbo fuel for 711 generators, but I'm only using it for 704 just so that nothing's working to its absolute capacity, because again, it's just problems when you're working with fluids and you're working at the very sort of limit of what you can do. Nothing seems to work properly, so I'd rather just go over the top and just a little bit overkill just to make everything run smoothly. So that all comes out of here via these pipes here. Through here, and then they come down the front here. Up here, this has all been made with beams. Here, this patterning here. And then that all comes down and gets split off into these pipes here, which then go along this bridge and over to the fuel generators over there. All the curves in this base have just been made using beams and either concrete pillars or metal pillars. So here we've got a combination of large metal pillars, and then you've got the smaller concrete pillar in between, just to give that sort of ribbed look, if you like. They just come up here, and I liked the look of them just sort of being unfinished like this. So they just sort of overhang, just gives a nice aesthetic there. And then we come down to our bridge, where we've made these sort of U-shaped supports just for all our pipes to travel through and be supported by. And we've got the pillars coming down here. Now all of these pipes just come along here. Eventually they connect into the spiral that I've created around them. Now this took a long time to make this. I'll be honest with you, I think I made a fully detailed, I think it was either 4 or 8 sections. So 8 rows of these generators were made fully. And then I copied and pasted everything I needed. Obviously copying and pasting isn't as easy as what it sounds. Yes, it does the machines, but it doesn't do any of the pipe work, really. and it can sort of mess around with your pillar positioning. But I did, like I say, I think I did 8 full sets of 16, so there's 16 per circle generators. I did 8 full sets, made that from scratch, and then copied and pasted everything. Unfortunately, I don't have the luxury of time, so I had to do some copy and pasting just to make the rest of the build, really. But this just comes along here, and you've got all the pipes just being fed round and round and round, and then going up. This is all working without pumps, because I made sure that the blenders at the top there were higher than the highest machine here. As you can see, those blenders are just a little bit higher. So that means I don't need to worry about pumps. It's a little fluid trick that you can use. As long as you're pumping all your fluids higher than the area that you actually need them, then you can just flow them back down and back up without additional pumps. So that's how everything's running along there. This is still in the process of filling up, so it hasn't reached its full capacity, but it will. I will show you that later on when we get to that. But yeah, this all just comes down here. If you see my earlier train video, you would have seen all of this. And the train literally just goes straight through the middle, of the spiral there, and then comes out the other end. Here we are coming out the other end of the tunnel. This is all finished off as well. Created these nice supports just using the various walls that we have at different angles, framing it off with a nice, just the small beams painted orange there. These just go down, these are nice and simple. And then made the curve around here with the pillars. This here, if you want to make this, all you do is you snap pillars to the very bottom of the train track itself, and then you can snap a pillar to the side of that, and that makes the pillar then horizontal instead of vertical. Once you play around with it, you'll understand what I mean, but you can create a nice little effect there. So you can come around a corner, which looks supported. And then again, we come down here, down this spiral here. This end is capped off with orange pillars supports instead of the blue ones. And then we've got our main trackway, I guess, and all I've done with this is I've just used polish concrete foundations, half foundations, and just keep flipping them. So each one of these is the same polished concrete foundation, just flipped 180 degrees, and that's what's gotten me that sort of checkerboard pattern. And that's pretty much it. I'll just show you this factory, what it's actually producing currently. So currently we're not quite at maximum, but you can still see it's still going up. I believe it should go up to, I think it was 105-ish thousand megawatts, and that should run my whole world without a problem. So I can come away from all coal usage and everything like that and use that for perhaps making steel instead. But we've got some fairly simple supports underneath. I didn't really want to detract from the main feature, which was the spiral in the middle. It only really creeps through. I didn't want it to be a bold feature. I've done spirals that were quite bold in the past and made them the main feature. I want this to almost be the main feature, but be subtle about it, so it sort of stays hidden in there rather than see the whole thing at all times. But otherwise, that is it. That is my turbo fuel factory tour. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. But otherwise, if you did enjoy, please hit the like button and maybe consider a subscription. Thank you very much. Bye for now.